Welcome back to another episode of Legacy Battle. I am Michael Adams, my co-host tonight from Gridiron Battle Zone, Brian King, Steelers Nation South, Rollo Cawthon. We got just an incredible interview for you here tonight. We're joined by the most famous name in golf gear. He's a long ball specialist, an entrepreneur, published author. We want to welcome the legend, Jack the Hammer Hamm. Boom, Jack, welcome for being. Thank you for coming here.
Hey, Boom, baby. I appreciate that intro, man. It's always good to get that boom out there.
Excellent. So, as I said, we got an interview. He is a six-time world long drive champion. And if you were ever up late at night watching the Golf Channel, I'm sure you know this guy. But we're going to start with our first question tonight. We are going to start at the beginning here. But before we do that, rumors persist that you have hit a ball a fourth of a mile. Is that true? And how far is your farthest drive?
Okay, well, as you said, I do have six records, and I can maybe tell you about those. Probably one of the more amazing records in a long drive was 458 yards in the air, no wind, and 473 total distance. My original record, which was in 1986, it was 406 yards with a 43-inch steel shaft. I won that long drive contest by 100 yards. That was in 1986. So then I kept breaking my records. I also used to live in Denver for 25 years, and I rented the old airport, which was Stapleton Airport. And I figured that if I could hit the ball 500 yards in the air, I could roll it another 500 yards. So John Daly had a runway record of I think 699, something like that. I went out there with my film crew, and we filmed on the runway 1,012 yards. I hit it, so as a world record for that. So, yeah, I actually, even as I've gotten older, I have a technique and a swing that allows me to hit this ball world's fastest club hit speed, 162 miles an hour. If I can still average 400 yards in the air, I can hit an 8-iron 260 yards every time still. So it makes the game easy when you're hitting it that long. And I've always, always, always loved to try to help people with their golf game. That's my passion. That's how I started this whole thing. I started with my swing and the lesson called the 30-minute miracle. It's a really radical approach. I don't know, in my background, I have an engineering degree, master's degree in engineering. And any sport that I've ever been involved in, I actually try to study it and take it to the max. And I still do that to this day with my swing. I'm always out there studying. I just came from the driving range right now. I'm always thinking, I'm always tinkering to try to get an extra 5, 10 yards. So I try to give that to people. So, that's what I'm all about. And I love, coming up with new stuff. My new driver, the Hammer Turbo Air, is a brand new infomercial. It's got every bell and whistle that you could ever want. And, you're right. I've been out there. I think I've done something like 8 golf infomercials and 1 tennis infomercial. So you couldn't sleep at night. I was in your ear yelling, boom, bam, pow, thank you, ma'am. So that's what I was all about. And just trying to take golf to another edge for people.
So, Jack, what were your earliest exposures to the game of golf, and how did it become such an important part of your life?
Well, that's a good question. And I have a book about what I've done in golf. I'm not your typical guy that had a country club membership. I learned to hit golf balls against the side of a house with wiffle balls. I learned to hit a golf ball on a stick, okay, with a rope, because I didn't really have a lot of money to be able to get out there and go play these country clubs. But luckily, I got a job at a golf course, and I started working on the game, and I started studying magazines. This is back in the 70s, and I tried to figure out, again, the optimum way to hit a golf ball. And to me, the more I studied, the more I followed these tips, the more I read Golf Digest, the worse I got. I kept getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, I don't know if you know the fact, probably 90% of the people can't break 100. And so, I came up with all these things that I do. It's in this setup, not in the swing, because impact in a golf ball is 1/1000th of a second. So you don't have time to analyze your swing. This video stuff and all that. None of that's going to work. None of these lessons today. I don't see anybody helping anybody. The average golf hasn't changed in years, and so. But I studied Sam Snead's swing. And to me, he had the perfect swing. And we didn't have videos back then. All I could do was look at still photos. And I broke this thing down into these 5 simple steps in the setup to give me the perfect backswing, the perfect downswing. And it's allowed me to take it. Let me put it this way. Back in the 70s, it allowed me to take my drive, which was maybe 250, 260 yards, 400 yards overnight. So that's how radical it is. And I'm going to tell you, I compare this to the Fosbury flop of high jumping back in the 70s. This guy, Dick Fosbury, comes up with this crazy idea to jump over the bar backwards, and he wins the Olympics and goes a foot higher than everybody else. Okay, that's what my golf swing is, and that's what my technology and my clubs are. I'm just different. I'm just different guy out there. I mean, some people will call me Uncle Rico. I mean, I've heard that expression, and I take it as a compliment. But the fact of the matter is, I am the guy who hit over a mountain. Okay. The fact of the matter is, I did hit it on a runway 1,012 yards. Okay. The fact of the matter is, I came up with the first big head, the Zolex hammer. Callaway and TaylorMade, these guys copied me about 5 years later. I'll be honest with you. If you take a look at my new driver right now, Mike, I'm light years ahead of these guys. I mean, you can see through it. It's got a flipped over face. It's got a power core. My goal in this whole golf business is to make people believe what I'm telling you is the real thing. And it's hard because, as you know, I'm up against this like David and Goliath. I'm up against these big guys telling you, pumping you full of air, pumping you can tell this is the fastest, this is the going to help you. My stuff actually helps people, just like my swing helps people.
Right. Well, could you sort of describe what like the perfect drive looks and feels like to the bystander?
Well, okay. I'm going to throw this out there. And guys, as a guy, okay. But I'm telling you, one of the fundamentals in my swing is, okay, the more that you bend your left arm at address, the farther you hit the ball. Like, that's how radical I am. 9.9% of the people are told to play golf with a, firm left arm. The more you bend your left arm, the farther you're going to hit it. Secondly, how does it feel? And I'd ask anybody out there to hit a long drive. It's like, it's almost, I refer to my driver, my swing as like an orgasmic golf swing because it's that great the way it feels. It's unbelievable the way it feels when you just launch one. And, that's what brings us all back. Even if you're terrible, you hit a good shot. Okay, I'm going back. I'm going to try to figure this out. So, my thing with all these infomercials, and I did sell like 1 million golf clubs on TV. It was very successful, with the infomercials. And my new one's the best I've ever done. The new Hammer Turbo Air. It's got every bell and whistle. It's even got a flat shaft. Okay, so it's got everything that anybody could ever want. And you just have to believe what I'm telling you is going to add at least 50 to 60 yards to your swing because it does work. So, I don't have $1 billion to convince you that this is, but I do have, real science behind what I'm doing. Remember, I'm an engineer and I designed this stuff from an engineering background. So it's just the greatest feeling in the world when you crush a drive, and it brings us all back. And I was at the driving range today, I have to tell you. So I'm out there, and there's one other man out there, okay? And I'm out there, and I'm going, boom! Okay, the guy turns around, and he says to me, "Are you okay? Are you ill?" I said, "No, that's just what I do." So I take another swing, and he turns around, and he says to me, "Hey, son," he goes, "listen, we don't allow that around here." I'm like, "Okay, I got you, but that's what I do." Okay. So, I've had stories back when I lived in Denver where I had people tell me, if I hear you yell boom one more time, if I hear you say pow one more time, okay, you're out of here. I used to go out to the driving range in Denver, right? Because I've been kicked off every driving range in basically Denver because they lose all their balls. But I would go out there and and literally put 10 pieces of gum in my mouth just to keep myself from making some kind of obscene noise, okay, yelling boom when I hit the ball. And I invented this boom thing and this hammer time thing way before they did it in tennis and you name it. In fact, one of the things that was in my first tape, okay, was, and I actually had a competition against John Daly at the Phoenix Open. But so I sent him this tape. In my tape, okay, the first tape I did, the gentleman that was interviewing me asked me, "How do you do this, Hammer?" I said, "Grip it, rip it, Jim." Okay, that's where grip it, rip it came from. I invented grip it, rip it. Daly got my tape, and he made it famous. So just a little tidbit there for you. But I found a grip it, rip it. So, and it is a great feeling.
Jack, you've got multiple records for the driving. Who are two or three other golfers you think belong in your class of long drivers?
Well, I would tell you that I don't really associate myself with the long drive guys because I'm not muscle bound. I do it by leverage. I do it by explosion on the golf ball. My hand, the way that I leverage a golf ball has never been seen before. I mean, and let me put it this way: at impact, okay, right before impact, my hands are literally below my waist, and the club head is still behind my head. Everybody else releases the ball and casts the ball up here. Okay, these guys are swinging hard, but they don't know how to leverage it. So, Bryson DeChambeau is the longest hitter on the tour, obviously, and I know he's tried my driver, and he did yell boom when he hit it. He seemed like he liked it. He hit it dead straight. So, but to be honest with you, even at my age, I consider myself one of a kind. I don't use 50-inch clubs. Okay, I don't spray the ball. If I hit 5 balls, they're all 420, 400 yards, dead straight in the fairway. So I don't know if there's anybody that can really do what I do now, even at my age. I feel like I can beat anybody by at least 50 to 100 yards still. All right. So even though technology's gotten better, with my swing and the same length club that I use, okay, I feel like I could literally beat anybody. Okay. So, and I'll tell you one more thing, one little story. I used to travel around the country and I'd put exhibitions on. And one of the things that I would always do is I'd have 25 guys that could show up and just challenge me. And I would beat them with a 6-iron because I hit a 6-iron 3 1/4. All right. So that's what would be the deal. One time in Japan, and I had the same challenge going on. I'm in Japan and I'm at the dinner that night. Okay. And this guy comes up to me and he says, "Oh, excuse me, Mr. Hammer." He goes, "You have won some money today. What do you mean?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we all bet against you." He hands me this big wad of yen. Okay. And I'm like, "What is this?" He goes, "You won it. You beat us all with that 6-iron today." They were using drivers. Okay. I get to the Tokyo airport, check it out. It's like $10,000. Okay. They actually won against these guys with a 6-iron. Everybody bet that I couldn't beat them with my 6-iron against their driver. So, but I feel like I'm in a kind of a class by myself still, So I'm just, giving great things to help the average guy, and that's what I'm all about. Is trying to help everybody play better golf. And I mean, I'm telling you right now, if people knew the Hammer secret swing, I could change the national average from 100 to 85 overnight. That's how radical this thing is.
Yeah, Hammer, you also mentioned a couple of your driver, and why do you think the PGA Tour won't take to your equipment, knowing that it does help you become a better golfer?
And that's an excellent question. The biggest thing that, like the generic golfer that's watching the tour every week, and I don't watch it because to me, it's really difficult for me to watch it when they're hitting a 7-iron 160 yards and I hit mine, 270 yards. I'm 100 yards farther. I can't watch this stuff. I mean, I can't watch it. Okay. But the fact of the matter, what they don't understand is that these companies are buying these guys. They're buying them, they're giving them 10, 20, 30 million dollars to, get them to put a hat on, get them to carry the Titleist bag or the Callaway bag. I mean, these guys don't really use the generic club that they're selling the generic public. They've got custom made clubs, and to be honest with you, I guess I'm kind of like, I look at like I am the, Chuck Norris of golf, where I'm like so far out there that that couldn't possibly work. When you look at my new driver, like, oh, that's really cool. It's totally cool. I bet that could make me yell boom, but does it really work? So it becomes very difficult for me sometimes for people to understand. The true test in this golf business, and I've been in this business for 30 years, is your return. I don't even have a 1% return rate. Like this new club, that have been selling for probably 4 or 5 months, I've gotten like one golf club back in 4 or 5 months. This thing is real, okay? It's real golf science. It's real aerodynamics. It's not like, the fluff that they sell. They keep changing the same thing. Metal, this, that. I see Callaway's got a shaft out there they're selling for $990. They probably got $3 into that shaft. I actually have real technology. I mean, I have a flat shaft, okay? Flat. And guess what a flat shaft does for you? All right. It's faster through the air. It's like a sword. Okay. Number two, it doesn't twist. There's no twisting to it. These round shifts twist like The Exorcist. Okay. And thirdly, it tracks the head right into the ball. You can close your eyes and hit it. But why do they not use it? It's because I guess it's too radical. It's too beyond them right now. But someday, I feel like just someday, somebody's going to hear what I'm saying, and they're going to get this and go, oh my God, he's really got something here. Now there's plenty of people that bought my stuff, but let me put it this way. The name of my company is Longbow. What's the best name for a golf company? Longbow. I've had that name for 35 years. What's the best name for a driver? Hammer. I've had that name for 35 years. I mean, I sell golf balls. I sell wedges. I have a hammer putter. Let me put my putter. Now, I couldn't putt at all. I mean, it was a joke. I had a round one time with a Japanese customer in Denver where I drove 8 par 4s, okay, and I had 43 putts and shot a 72, right? I asked the pro, I said, what do you think the record is for going around a golf course in 18 holes? Because I had 29 golf shots, okay? Just think if I had any kind of normal putting, okay? I literally, with 4 and 5 putt holes, I invented a hammer putter that I could have won $20 million a year on. Then my putter is the only putter that works. All putters are heel to toe. They all have a heel to toe. My putter is lined up with what's called the zero latitude plane. It's designed along the putting plane, so you'll never 3-putt again. It's like putting miracle. So all my stuff is radical, and that could be the long form answer of what you're asking me. But it's and I don't have the $50 million for them to go out there and hit my driver. So
that kind of jumps into my next question. I was going to have you tell us about the hammer putter, but how'd you come up with the design and basically almost using the putter sideways, but with a hammerhead on it? And you said you had it. Let's see it.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Just I don't know how well you can see this, but here's the deal. Okay, here's how all putters are designed. Oh, I'm sorry. All putters are designed like this. Okay, they're designed like this. Okay, where there's a heel and a toe. You don't know where the sweet spot is. They're designed like this. Okay, and that being said, if you go way back to math class in the 6th grade, there's an XY axis, okay? And the Y axis is your longitude plane. The X axis is the latitude plane, okay? And that's your putting plane. That's why this putter makes sense, okay? This thing, you can actually putt with your wrist. Let me just tell you how silly this is, the way golf is, okay? I'll tell you why I could never putt. I don't like to practice putting because I like to kill the ball, okay? But they teach you to putt with your shoulders and do this, pedal on your shoulders, block everything down on your hands, no wrist. Okay. How much feel do you have in your shoulders? There's your big muscles. You have no feel. Okay. This is the only putter that you can putt just with your wrist. It's that simple. It's wrist putting. Okay. I call it the prayer grip. This is all you got to do. Okay. And it's just deadly. You could literally put 10 balls down from 6 feet, close your eyes and make them all with this putter. It's that amazing. So this is a one-of-a-kind putter, and anybody that, doesn't want to spend $500 on a putter and get putting help, okay, this thing is like, it's unbelievable. If I had this putter, okay, I won every tournament in golf, okay, back 10, 15 years ago. Because this thing, there's a time in my life when I play golf, I probably played golf for 5 years and didn't carry a putter. I get to the green and they'd be like, I'm done. Just add 2 on the card. Because I couldn't take the frustration. I tried every putter under the sun. I don't care how much you spend, $500, $600 per putter. None of them are designed to work. If they have a heel and they have a toe, they're never going to work. That's it. Period. So.
So, Jack, there's some controversy out there about both your personal accomplishments as well as the quality of your product line. So, what would be your message to those type of critics?
Well, I think when you have critics, okay, my accomplishments are, again, it's like kind of the Uncle Rico syndrome. Every one of the records has been documented. Okay, everything that I do has been documented. I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm out there. I mean, like you look, this is, we didn't look at the driver, okay, but this is the Hammer turbo driver. Okay, now all I'm going to say to you is, technically, if you understand anything about science or anything, you tell me why this wouldn't work. This sword. This is a sword, shaped like a sword. Okay. You take a look at this. This is flipped over, upside down. All golf clubs from the beginning of golf. Okay. Even the wooden ones were designed where they're flat on top, round on the bottom. I flipped it over so the guy can get a bigger sweet spot. Then I put this power core here. Okay. Where I put the mass right where you want it. E equals mv squared. That creates energy. Then you can actually see through it. Okay. You don't need all the metal. It's wasted metal. You put the mass where you want it. Okay. And then I invented a club called the Air Hammer back in 1996. The Air Hammer sold 300,000 drivers, and people loved it. Okay. The idea behind it, the air goes through the face, comes out the back. Okay. The first time I ever hit a ball with the Air Hammer, I went 70 yards farther. That's how radical it is. I would use the example of aerodynamics. Real aerodynamics is get in your car, put your hand out the car window, open it up, shut it. You'll feel the drag. There's a lot of drag on a club head, okay? And that's what I did. So this new club, the Hammer Turbo Air, is the greatest driver of all time, period, okay? Whether they want to naysay it or not, to me, if somebody says that, they're just jealous. They're just totally jealous, because this thing is a combination of the Air Hammer, the Zolix Hammer. The Zolix Hammer was one of my first clubs that was flipped over, and it was shaped like a ski slope, and it was the first big head, so it's flipped over and it had a big face. Then, so I took the Air Hammer, the one with the holes in it, okay? Then the last one was my Hammer X, that X where you could see through it, okay? I combined all three of these, the Air Hammer, the Zolix Hammer, and the Hammer X, into one driver called the Hammer Turbo. And someday, okay, this will be the way all the drivers are going to look. I can almost tell you that. They're like I said, they're light years behind me. They're probably 5 years behind me trying to figure this out. But I got patents on this. I have patents on this flat shaft, okay? This is one of a kind. So if anybody wants some serious help and wants to believe fluff, or you want some real science, I'm telling you, as the Uncle Rico Golf, okay, that it's real. And everything that I did, my records, they're all there. I mean, I can hit an 8-iron. Like I said, I've showed it. I proved it. I've been to Japan 20 times. I've been to Australia. I've been all over the world putting exhibitions on. I beat John Daly by over 100 yards in a contest. Okay, not even close. So, where I'm coming from.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Jack, for joining us today. And if you want to learn more about him, go to longballsports.com. You can order product there. You can see videos, all kinds of stuff. Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate your interest in the Hammer and long ball sports. Boom, baby.
Everybody, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification button. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great night.